taking back our country.
We're in a battle for the soul of America.
Welcome to Faces of History. Here we uncover fascinating stories from the past and dive into the lives of legendary figures who shaped the course of world history. If you're passionate about history and the incredible journeys of those who made it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. Let's embark on this inspiring journey through time together. Welcome to the superhero universe of American politics, where every vote can become a super weapon and every accusation of fraud is a masterstroke. In 2020, the US presidential election is not just a matter of who to vote for, but also a long-running TV show full of drama, from accusations of ghost votes, vote-counting machines like transformed witches, to laws the monk shouted like he was filming a B-grade action movie. But the irony here, at the end of the movie, the court said again, no evidence, no real fraud. Are we witnessing a political twist or just an invested comedic performance? Join me in uncovering the mystery and see where this smoke and fog comes from. Part 1. Election context. To understand why the 2020 U.S. presidential election became as noisy as a market, let's look at some numbers and facts. First, the official election day is November 3rd, 2020. It sounds simple. Simple, but in reality, election day in the U.S. that year lasted almost the entire fall. Because of COVID-19, voters flocked to vote early and by mail at record rates. For example, the state of California and Florida allows early voting weeks before the main day, while Pennsylvania and Michigan received mountains of mail ballot envelopes. Of course, the counting of votes could not be done overnight because it was not just opening the box, counting 1 to 2. 3 minutes for the results to come out. Each state has its own regulations. One state lets you open it first. Another state requires you to wait until election day to open it. Just like you have to wait until 24 hours on Christmas Eve to open your gifts, even if the gifts have already been opened, lying there for a whole month. Talk about tension. Nearly 160 million people voted in the entire United States that year, an all-time record. This number is so high that, in an analogy, the electoral system must have had to work as hard as a long-distance marathon runner. And because so many votes came in many forms, in person, by mail, early voting, the results did not appear neatly on election night like the simple scenario many people expected. It is worth mentioning that the battleground states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Georgia, Arizona are the main stages of the election drama. Here, mail votes and in-person votes are sometimes counted separately, causing a period of results favoring one candidate, then reversing when another batch of votes, usually mail or ballots, early, is checked. Every time the data changes, the media, social networks, and people become nervous, confused, or excited like watching a football match where the score keeps jumping around. If viewed from the candidate's perspective, Mr. Donald Trump and Mr. Joe Biden are no different from two players chasing the score on the board, while the audience screams, "Watch out for biased referee." Oh, what? It's been so long. Where are the results? Then the media continuously updates. CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, AP. Each channel has a slightly different way of calling the results of this or that state, making viewers suspicious. Huh? Are they playing a game of trivia? To summarize, the 2020 election scene is a giant stage with COVID-19 pandemic, exploding mail ballots, early voting. The election law system varies by state. Each place has its own law, which is as confusing as chive soup. Record number of voters, as many votes as on a big sale day, but instead of lining up to shop, they lined up to vote. Media and social networks, both referee, commentator, and scriptwriter, with countless interpretations. All of this has created a unique election atmosphere that is not easy to recreate. This complexity is the perfect premise for suspicions and accusations of fraud to creep in, sparking heated debates afterward. Part 2. Fraud allegations. When there was such a complicated and long election, the emergence of allegations of fraud also seemed reasonable and appropriate. Since voting day, former President Donald Trump and his team constantly makes statements: ghost votes, dead votes, dishonest vote counting machines, and many other thrilling scenarios. Imagine they turn the election into a heavy detective movie in which voters are unwitting become public actors, while the votes play the role of suspicious characters. Miraculous mail ballots. One of the most talked about allegations is that a series of mail ballots poured in late at night, helping rival Joe Biden jump ahead in key states. The only thing missing is the scary background music, but it sounds like there is an army of vote-counting goblins operating at midnight to, magically, the number of votes to an impressive number. Vote-counting machines programmed to cheat. Allegations revolve around companies that provide vote-counting machines, typically Dominion voting systems. Many Trump supporters asked, did this machine suddenly change votes from Trump to Biden? If you hear it, it sounds like a Hollywood-sized conspiracy, where computers rebel and arbitrarily bend election results. Dead people's votes, cat and dog votes. There are rumors to the point of sarcasm that even the deceased come back to vote, or somewhere there is a fabricated story about animals registering to vote. It's like an extended Halloween where all the entities can manifest their names on the ballot. However, amid these series of sky-falling claims, the problem is the lack of solid evidence. Trump's legal team has filed more than 60 lawsuits in various states, and most have been dismissed by the courts. Judges from the state to the federal level, from Republican appointees to Democratic nominees, mostly agreed. Sorry, gentlemen, but we need concrete evidence, not sentences. Thrilling story. Not only the court, but local election officials, including Republicans, also spoke up to confirm that no organized or large-scale fraud was found. The mythical scenario about vote-counting machines arbitrarily changing votes sounds fun, but when manually counting votes again, the result remains unchanged. Recounts in Georgia, Wisconsin, or a special audit in Maricopa, Arizona, ultimately only reinforced Biden's victory. Of course, differences in election rules, ballot counting, or result announcement speed have easily confused voters. But confusion is not the same as cheating. Those are two completely different concepts. The story here is, to prove fraud, you need specific, clear evidence, not just suspicions or rumors. In short, while the cheating script was heavily promoted as a detective masterpiece, the results of the trial and investigation left the audience disillusioned. The allegations are many, but reliable evidence is scarce. In other words, what exists between the allegations of fraud is a vast gap in evidence. Just like watching a trailer for a thriller movie, but when you enter the theater, you only see a static screen. Part 3. Investigation and results. When it comes to investigating election fraud in 2020, people expect a huge coup, like a plot twist in a detective movie. The lawyer walks into court with shocking evidence. The judge gasps. The media shouted, "Oh my God, the truth is out." But the reality is like a movie where for 2 hours you just see the characters walking around. In the end, there is no plot twist at all. Just look at the number of lawsuits. More than 60 cases involving alleged fraud were filed in key states like Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, and Arizona. That's not a small number. However, the funny thing here is that most of these lawsuits are dismissed. The court, where the law and evidence speak, always asks, where is the concrete evidence? And the answer is usually, well, we believe there is fraud, but we haven't found clear evidence. This is like going to a restaurant to order a specialty dish, and the chef says, "Please, sorry, we only have menus, no real dishes." Not only ordinary judges, but even the Supreme Court, with the presence of many judges appointed under Donald Trump, is not interested in unfounded accusations. In addition, the Department of Justice, DOJ, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, also confirmed that they have seen no evidence of large-scale fraud. Even the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, under the U.S. Department of Homeland Security at that time under the Trump administration, declared that the 2020 election was the most secure in American history. It sounds strange. The team making the accusations is eloquent, while the investigation agency calmly says, "No, thank you. We don't see anything worth panicking about." In an effort to reveal the truth, some states have conducted a recount or special review, audit. For example, Georgia recounted votes not just once, but 2 or 3 times. Result? It doesn't seem like much has changed from the beginning. In Arizona, Maricopa County became the center of drama when a special auditing organization searched everything. But in the end, the re-verification results also confirmed Biden's victory. It's like you're flipping through the room looking for the key, only to realize the key was right there on the table to begin with, and there was no thief in the house. All of this shows that the investigation, recount, and scrutiny of every detail did not find large-scale fraud. There may be a few sporadic administrative incidents, minor mistakes, common in any major election. But it is not enough to overturn the results or turn candidate A into candidate B. In the end, despite a series of accusations promising to reveal shocking secrets, we received a lackluster result. There was no widespread fraud, the court dismissed the lawsuit, and the relevant agencies simultaneously agreed. Confirmed the validity of the results. And so that noisy political detective movie ended without any dramatic twist, leaving only the melody. The movie's over. Please leave the audience. Part 4. Reaction of the media and public opinion. When it comes to American media, imagine you are standing in a giant room, surrounded by dozens of speakers playing music, each with a different song and all at full capacity. The 2020 election and the accusations of cheating are the hit topic that each speaker mixes the music in their own way, creating a harmony, if not a chaos. Cable television channels from conservative tycoon Fox News to CNN, MSNBC, which are considered to lean toward the moderate or Democratic side, compete to tear the incident into pieces to analyze, comment, and dissect. Fox News was somewhat cautious at first, but still spent a lot of time on Mr. Trump's statements, which sometimes sounded like an action movie. Is some underground force distorting the truth? Meanwhile, CNN and MSNBC looked at the fraud story with skepticism. They presented plenty of on-the-ground evidence, interviewed election officials, and concluded with the message, "Hey, if there was real fraud, then where? We searched and couldn't find it." On social networks, things are even more frantic. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube have become information flea markets. A few months after the election, a tweet denouncing fraud can attract tens of thousands of likes and thousands of comments arguing wildly. In it, we meet all types. Trump supporters accuse Democrats of magic votes. Others tried to correct it, saying all the accusations were baseless. Many social networks also label articles and videos spreading vague information with false information labels, making viewers feel like they are attending a promotional labeling event with careful stickers everywhere. Mainstream media tried to stay close to reality, interviewing election officials in the states, inviting experts to analyze the vote counting process, and presenting official documents. Some channels even got tired of having to repeat over and over again, "No, there is no evidence of large-scale fraud." Public opinion has since then been strongly divided. One side firmly believes that somewhere has a strange smell, as if they are watching a magic show and insists there is a secret behind the stage. The other side looked at the legal results, the official reports, and said to themselves, "Hey, it turns out there's no magic. We just happened to watch too many detective movies." Particularly, there were even people standing outside who laughed and shook their heads. Why are people so suspicious? They treated the entire controversy as a political comedy and teased, if election fraud were a story, the script would have been truncated by the director, with no ending. In short, the reaction of the media and public opinion is a colorful picture, and every color is dazzling. Confirmers, deniers, labeling channels, and fact-checking sites are operating at full capacity. In this play, the media and social networks are both the audience, the actors, and the director, turning the topic of election fraud into a noisy, never-ending, and highly charged dialogue. Laughing Till Tears. Part 5, Personal Opinion. Looking at the whole story, I honestly feel like I'm watching a long-running reality TV series, where the script sometimes lacks logic like a movie. Self-produced material. Hearing all kinds of accusations like a menu of specialties, from dead votes, ghost vote counting machines to global conspiracies. Hey, who wouldn't want to see a spectacular unmasking place the truth is revealed like the sunlight at noon? Finally, after all these episodes, we don't have any shocking reflections, only tired courts repeating, no evidence, no fraud. Let's be fair, the American electoral system is not perfect. The huge number of votes, confusing election laws, and lengthy counting can easily cause confusion. Many people are understandably skeptical. Feeling confused before an important event like a presidential election is normal, but emotions and suspicions need to be converted into concrete evidence if you want to accuse fraud. Here we see a huge gap. Clear evidence is scarcer than diamonds. If we call this an evidence gap, then we have spent months looking under the magnifying glass, recounting votes, interrogating machines, interviewing officials, and in the end, we still only see a plain white wall. Personally, I found it a bit disappointing, not because I expected there to be cheating, but because the script was advertised so loudly that it caused curiosity. Unfortunately, the movie is not as attractive as the trailer. However, the important thing is not whether there is drama or not, but faith in democracy. Whether you like or hate the results, whether you team Trump or Biden, the truth is that independent tests and rulings have not supported the theory of fraud. That delivers a message. The system, despite its complexity, is still pretty solid, at least in this test. And the lesson learned? Instead of mere suspicion, we should demand transparency, reform the electoral system, and make it more perfect. That way, the next time someone shouts fraud, we will have a quick response mechanism, check the evidence, draw clear conclusions, and limit turning the election into a quarrel TV show. Back and forth. In short, from a personal perspective but still trying to be fair, I think the cheating blockbuster has failed. Reality shows there is no bomb, it's all rumors. If you want drama, perhaps you should change the channel to watch fantasy action movies. In politics, the end result is still the same. No evidence, no fraud. So the drama's over. The next episode will air with the hope of being less absurd. Part 6, Implications in Future. Closing the 2020 election drama, what are we left with? Except for a bunch of rumors and accusations that are not solid enough to build a tent, and for many months, voters have been watching a buy one, get 10 free show. The most notable consequence is that trust in the electoral system is shaken. Many people, despite being extremely patriotic, suddenly become skeptical, asking, will it be my vote next time? Are there any ghosts impersonating us? It is unfortunate that elections, which are the foundation of democracy, have become a marketplace of controversy. From there, the need for reform emerged. We need more clarity, more transparency, more unified laws. Several states have proposed tightening election security, requiring IDs or increasing surveillance. Others worry that this will make things difficult for voters. It's like boiling a pot of water. You want to clean the bacteria, but you're afraid of losing nutrients. What about the future? Who knows, maybe next time we will have blockchain technology in elections, identity authentication using retinal scans, or elections taking place neatly on smartphones, no different from pressing a button to buy an online product. However, please don't dream that everything will be smooth. Americans are very creative, so if it wasn't vote fraud, then maybe they would argue about, was the AI counting the votes biased, or did satellites in space send interference with the results? Conspiracy theories are a dish that never ceases to be hot. Just imagine one day people will suspect. Then later, will the 3D printer print fake votes? In the age of technology, anything can be doubted. However, if looked at from a positive perspective, the noise of 2020 also has its advantages. It promotes verification and refinement. By going through the storm of doubt, the electoral system has a chance to be strengthened and improved. States, organizations, and officials will have to sit down and evaluate the process to minimize the space for conspiracy theories to creep in. People have learned that don't rush to believe all accusations, wait for verification. Like it or not, this experience is a bloody lesson. In short, the future of U.S. elections will continue to be a complicated show, but hopefully with less baseless drama. After the storm of 2020, the American democratic system may come out stronger, or at least more alert. If that's not enough, please prepare your popcorn in advance and wait for the next election season to watch the new television series. Maybe that time, we will have a less absurd plot. So we have completed our journey through the world of the 2020 U.S. election, where political drama and suspicions of fraud were promoted as a blockbuster, but ended up being a letdown. We see all kinds of characters: confused voters, lawyers waving flags demanding evidence, election officials with tense faces, and the media as noisy as a fair. After all, the most valuable thing is not the loud statements, but the way the system verifies information, confronts the accusations, and then comes out with a clear conclusion: no evidence of regulatory fraud. Although our faith in democracy is shaky, we also recognize the need for transparency, innovation, and accountability. Who knows, in the future, the election will be neater, less drama, or maybe there will be new drama, who knows. Thank you for your companionship, calmly illuminating every hidden corner, and being willing to smile in the face of failed acclaim. In the end, the lesson learned is: always observe, verify, and don't hesitate to doubt. But don't forget, doubt without proof is just an echo in nothingness. See you again in the next interesting topics.